say all the time, I'm forever grateful to my mother for making me take piano. And uh, she was very adamant that her children learned how to at least read and play music to the point where you could play like a hymn at church. And it took me a long time to get there. But once I did, I had pushed through all of that wanting to quit, and I had finally embraced it. And it has been a great skill because as a singer, I have had wonderful opportunities to sing professionally. As a piano player, that has opened some more doors for me as a piano player and a singer. So that combined skill can get you places that only if you only have one of those skills, you're sort of stuck in one role. But if you can do both, then that's huge. You're much more valuable to an organization or a choir or a church or you name the venue, and if they can get two for the price of one, I mean, who doesn't want to do that? So learning how to play piano and keeping up that skill has been huge. And you've probably noticed the harp behind me by now. That was a project I took on a few years ago now, but it's about 5 years ago. I was looking to book a harpist for one of our services at church, and I just had this pang in my heart because I thought, I don't want to pay somebody else to be the harpist. I want to be the harpist. And I contacted the person who ended up coming and playing harp for us and asked about taking lessons. And so I started on a baby harp, on one of those, on a lever harp. We rented one for a few months, and I got pretty decent at it. And so then we purchased one, and I did that for a year and a half or so. And then I had sort of exhausted everything I was capable of playing on the lever harp, and it was time to get what is behind me, which is a pedal harp. And those things are super expensive, as you may imagine. It's a bit like buying a car. And we didn't have that kind of cash laying around, of course. So we were a little bit stuck. Didn't know, because I wanted to keep going. I wanted to get better. And I needed to get this better instrument to improve. Well, because I was in the military, as I was a singer in the Navy band for 4 years, and part of the benefit of having been in the United States military is that you qualify for something called the Montgomery GI Bill, which allows you to go to college and the military pays for it. Just so happens, oh, hello, forgot to turn my ringer off. All right, now it's off. Just so happened that the GI Bill, when I signed up, I was given a bonus. It was called a kicker, I think. And so not only did I get my education paid for, but there was a stipend that I got every month to cover living expenses. And that allows people who wouldn't otherwise be able to go to school full time. You wouldn't have to also have a job at the same time. And so because of that, I was able to audition, enroll, and get accepted into a master's program for the harp. And with the extra money that the GI Bill provided, we were able to purchase this lovely pedal harp that's behind me now. That has been just the biggest blessing. It was so, it's a dream come true. I wanted to learn to play the harp when I was 12, and we lived in Mississippi at the time, and it's not a real hotbed of harp. There's not a lot of people to play the harp, and definitely not anyone that was teaching the harp, especially in the area we were. Um, and my parents couldn't have afforded it anyway. We had inherited the piano we had, and I'm pretty sure that was why my mom was so adamant that we all learned to play the piano, because that was an instrument that we actually owned already, and uh, we didn't have the extra cost associated with all of that. So here, my 12-year-old self gave up on that dream, and then my 20-something-year-old self was able to pick it up and make it happen. Um, I'm getting a little emotional just thinking back about that now. It's been amazing to be able to have that dream come true. So maybe I can help other people's dreams come true like that. Like my story with the harp. I always wanted to learn to play and then gave up, and then here all the stars aligned and I was able to as an adult. So maybe that's you. Maybe you always wanted to learn to play the piano, or wanted to learn to read music, wanted to learn to sing, and you missed that opportunity for whatever reason as a child. Um, well, now's your chance. Thanks to the internet, there's a multitude of things we can learn without ever leaving our living room. And I know there are plenty of people out there teaching songs on YouTube, teaching vocal warm-ups, teaching how to play specific songs, um, or performing. I mean, my goodness, there's a million things that you can find on YouTube if you search hard enough. What I provide is unique in that it is specifically for altos. Um, Interestingly enough, I sung soprano for most, if not all, of my growing up years in choir. But now, as a choir director, I've honed my abilities to sight read and to sing the alto part, because it's more difficult, and I've certainly proven I enjoy a challenge. And also, a lot of the time, like I mentioned earlier, we don't get to go over parts as much as we would like to in a rehearsal. And so the sopranos, bless their hearts, they get the melody, so it doesn't take a whole lot for them to learn their part. And the altos, a lot of times, will go over the part maybe once, twice if you're lucky, and then it's off to the races, like, hey, good luck. See you at the end. And I didn't feel right about that. So I felt that I should figure out how to sing that alto part myself so that I could sing with the altos, at the altos, and give them a fighting chance of picking up the part. And we are fortunate in our choir to have many talented singers, and I hope to be counted among them. It's a lot of fun.